Hey guys, imagine the soft silver of the moon spilling across a quiet street, or perhaps a garden where shadows lean like drowsy giants. A small shape moves silently, its body bending and flowing as though liquid had learned how to walk. This, of course, is the cat, an animal whose biology whispers secrets of grace, power, and survival. Tonight, together, we will drift into its world. As you listen, you might notice your own breath slowing, your shoulders loosening, as if you were already moving in rhythm with the animal we are about to explore. Now, shall we see where tonight's journey takes us? A cat is more than fur, more than a pair of glowing eyes watching from the dark. Its biology is a tapestry woven through millions of years, each thread tugged by nature to make something quietly remarkable. The cat's very shape is built for stealth. Notice the way its spine curves, so supple, so elastic, that it can coil like a spring and then release in a single, effortless leap. Unlike rigid human posture, the feline spine acts more like a bowstring, allowing forward extension that transforms even a still body into a potential explosion of movement. If you picture the cat's paws pressing softly into the earth, you might sense how carefully evolution has cushioned them. Beneath the pads lies a combination of fat and connective tissue designed to absorb impact and silence footsteps. It's as though each step has been muted, made gentle, allowing a cat to slip through night without disturbing even a mouse's dreaming. Their claws, too, are drawn inward, sheathed away like knives hidden in silk until the moment they're required. This retractability is a small miracle, protecting the sharp tips while keeping movement whisper quiet. Then there is the tail, swaying like a metronome of balance. Within its flexible bones lies a counterweight system, a living gyroscope. As the cat walks along narrow beams, leaps between branches, or simply shifts on a windowsill, the tail responds instinctively almost before thought arises. It is the body's way of whispering, "Don't worry, I've already corrected for you." Now if we drift closer to the head, we find an architecture built not just for appearance, but for survival. The jaw, shorter than that of a dog, houses sharp, conical teeth, each one designed like a scalpel for piercing and slicing rather than chewing. Cats do not grind their food. They shear it, bite-sized strips swallowed with ease. The tongue, covered in backward-facing barbs called papillae, drags fur from prey or smooths their own coat with the efficiency of a natural comb. Run your imagination across that rough tongue, and you can almost hear the rasp of sandpaper. Strangely comforting, strangely precise. Their nose, moist and dark, is part of a wider sensory network. For cats, smell is not simply a tool, it is a language. Scents become stories. Which cat passed here, whether food waits nearby, or if danger lingers unseen. Paired with the famous eyes, vast pupils that dilate like black pools at dusk, the cat is armed for twilight hunting. Each eye is a lantern built with a reflective layer, the tapetum lucidum, which shines light back through the retina. That's why those glowing orbs seem to float in darkness. They are not simply glowing, they are recycling moonlight, ringing the night for every last drop of vision. But notice how often cats pause, ears pivoting like tiny satellite dishes. Each ear moves independently, catching faint rustles, recalibrating. The inner structure is a chamber, spiraled and tuned for precision, picking up the high-pitched frequencies of small creatures. A moth flutters, a mouse shifts a pebble, and the cat hears it. It hears it as though the sound had been whispered directly into its skull. So within this single creature, a spine that bends like a bow, paws soft as velvet, claws hidden but deadly, eyes that capture light, ears that collect whispers, we see the foundation of its biology. A system built not only for survival but for elegance. To watch a cat is to see what happens when nature values silence, efficiency, and poise above all. And as we follow this path deeper into the biology of cats, you might notice something else. The more we describe their body, the more your own body mirrors them. Shoulders softer, breath slower, eyes growing heavy. The rhythm of the cat's anatomy becomes the rhythm of your own relaxation. Like them, you conserve energy, waiting for the next leap in the story. A cat's story does not begin in our living rooms or curled on a cushion by the fire. It stretches far back into dusty plains and wild landscapes where survival was the only rhythm. Their ancestry is written into every strand of muscle, every flick of the tail, every secretive glance. When we speak of cats, we are not just speaking of one species, but of a whole family, Felidae, an ancient lineage that carries the echo of saber-toothed hunters and solitary wanderers who prowled millions of years before humans ever lit a fire. If you trace the cat's genes, they tell a tale of remarkable stability. Unlike dogs, whose shapes and sizes vary wildly, cats have kept a consistent design. From the roaring lion to the smallest house cat, their skeletons are astonishingly similar, as though evolution found a perfect template and chose only to make small adjustments here and there. It's a story of refinement, not reinvention. The genetic code carved their bodies into living instruments of precision, and nature has had little need to tinker further. The domestic cat, the one who curls beside you now or waits by your fridge at night, is descended primarily from Felis libica, the African wildcat. Imagine a tawny hunter in the savanna grasses, stripes blending with the heat-rippled horizon. These wildcats were not so different in size or shape from our pets today. What shifted was not their bones or muscles, but their relationship to us. Thousands of years ago, when humans stored grain, mice followed, and the cats followed the mice. It was less a matter of taming and more a gentle agreement. Cats controlled pests, humans tolerated their presence, and slowly, through quiet companionship, they entered our homes. Yet despite this closeness, the cat's genome has retained a wildness. Studies of their DNA show that domestication has not smoothed them into docility in the way it did dogs. The feline brain, its instincts, its senses, these remain almost unchanged from their wild ancestors. This is why, even as they sprawl on a sofa, they still twitch at shadows, still pounce at toys, still stalk invisible prey with a seriousness that feels ancient. Their biology carries memory, a whisper of savanna grasses and desert winds. Within their genetics also lies variety. Coat colors, patterns, and even eye shades are orchestrated by small tweaks in melanin distribution and gene expression. A tabby cat's swirling stripes are written by the TACPEP gene, like brush strokes, guided by hidden hands. The Siamese, with its darker ears and tail, owes its mask to a temperature-sensitive enzyme. Cooler areas of the body grow darker fur, warmer parts stay pale. Even beauty here is biology, pigments responding to physics, chemistry, and heat. But beyond their outer appearance, cats carry inside them an evolutionary compromise. Unlike omnivores, cats are obligate carnivores. Their genes bind them to meat. They cannot produce certain amino acids, like taurine, on their own, and so must take it from prey. Their liver lacks the machinery to convert plant matter into what they need. This dietary demand is not a flaw, but an echo of ancestry. They evolved as hunters, their bodies never expecting to nibble leaves or grains. To feed a cat is to remember what the savannah demanded. Their DNA also codes for a particular quirk, an indifference to sweetness. Unlike humans, cats lack the functional genes for sweet taste receptors. Offer them sugar and it means nothing. Their tongues cannot perceive it. Instead, their genes heighten other senses, sharpening taste for amino acids, guiding them towards flesh. It is as though evolution sculpted their desires to align perfectly with survival, ignoring pleasures that would not serve them. If you look closer, feline ancestry reveals a balance between solitude and closeness. Unlike wolves, who evolved pack instincts, cats are solitary at their genetic core. Their survival was never built on large groups, but on stealth, patience, and precise hunting. And yet, as their lives intertwined with ours, their DNA adapted slightly, allowing tolerance, even affection, for human company. It is in their genes to remain independent, but also in their genes to stay near us, hovering between wildness and warmth. And perhaps this is part of their hypnotic charm. We sense in them something untamed, something that cannot fully be claimed. Their biology keeps them close, but never entirely ours. They are companions, not servants. Their eyes still hold the wild, their bodies still shaped by desert hunters. As you think of this, let yourself drift with that duality, closeness and distance, affection and independence. The ancestry of cats reminds us that every time a cat curls up beside us, we are touching something ancient. Their genome is a bridge between the wild past and the present moment. And as you listen, you might feel your own thoughts stretching like that bridge, rooted in history, carried forward into stillness, a reminder of how biology weaves memory into every living thing. Picture a cat stretching, its body lengthening like liquid silk poured along the floor. There is a reason it looks so effortless. Beneath the fur lies a framework that is both delicate and powerful, a skeleton tuned for agility, and a muscular system that turns every step into quiet choreography. If you've ever wondered how a cat can twist in midair, land on its feet, or slip soundlessly across a room, the secret lies in this intimate partnership between bone and muscle. The feline skeleton is made of around 230 to 250 bones, slightly more than ours, though it weighs far less. This difference comes from flexibility. Their vertebral column, especially the lumbar region near the lower back, is astonishingly elastic. Each vertebra is connected with intervertebral discs and ligaments that allow extraordinary bending and arching. When a cat leaps, its spine compresses like a spring, then releases in a fluid wave that propels it forward. It is the anatomy of a bow at full draw, releasing tension into motion. Notice the shoulder blades, scapulae, that are not firmly fixed like ours. Instead, they are free-floating, connected mainly by muscles. This design gives the front legs a wider range of motion, like oars that can sweep at different angles, maximizing stride length. This is why cats can cover surprising ground with just a few bounding steps. Their gait, a pattern of diagonal stepping, is almost soundless, balanced between elasticity and control. The legs themselves reveal another secret. Unlike humans, cats walk on their toes, digitigrade locomotion. This adds height and speed, turning every stride into a quiet extension of elastic tendons and cushioned pads. The forelimbs bear weight, but the hind limbs provide the thrust, packed with long muscles that coil and release. In this design, power is stored at the back, precision guided at the front. Imagine the rhythm of a bow and arrow. One half draws, the other releases. And then there are the claws. Each toe bone ends in a curved phalanx capped with a sharp, keratin hook. But unlike dogs, cats keep theirs hidden until needed. Retractable claws slide forward with the help of a special tendon mechanism, as though unsheathing blades. And this not only protects them from dulling, but also preserves silence. A cat can stalk with soft paws, then instantly deploy weapons. It's an elegant duality, gentle velvet transforming into steel. The muscles themselves form a symphony of strength and control. Over 500 separate muscles weave across their bodies, each one tuned to rapid contraction. Their fibers are built for both endurance and sudden bursts of speed, allowing a cat to lounge for hours, then spring into action in a single breath. The arrangement of these muscles means they can twist mid-air, correcting orientation as they fall, a trick known as the righting reflex. Even without wings, they fly with control. Their tails, too, are part of this ballet. Long and flexible, made of more than 20 vertebrae, the tail is constantly adjusting, counterbalancing every movement. Watch a cat on a narrow railing. The tail sways like a dancer's arm, subtle yet essential. This is not simply decoration, it is mathematics in motion, a lever system fine-tuned to prevent collapse. And let's not forget the jaw, part of this skeletal harmony. The temporomandibular joint, small but strong, allows the closing force needed to pierce flesh. Paired with masseter muscles, thick, fibrous bundles along the cheeks, the bite becomes both swift and efficient. There is no chewing marathon here, just shearing, slicing, swallowing. Evolution has no wasted energy in this design. When we step back, the cat's entire anatomy becomes clear, a body crafted not for brute force but for elegant efficiency. Bones are light, yet strong. Joints are loose, yet stable. Muscles coil, yet release with precision. Every part is tuned for survival, for silence, for grace. It's as though the cat's body were designed by an artist who valued not just function, but beauty in motion. And as you think of this, perhaps you notice your own body responding, shoulders rolling slightly, spine adjusting, breath becoming longer. That's the subtle influence of imagining such anatomy. The more we describe their structure, the more our own posture reflects it. You might even feel a little taller, a little looser, as if your own bones and muscles were reminded of their hidden elegance. So the next time you see a cat leap lightly onto a table or stretch across the sunlight, remember that you are watching a dance millions of years in the making, a ballet of bone and muscle, rehearsed by nature, perfected in silence. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing in a darkened room. You hear almost nothing, perhaps only the faint creak of a floorboard. Yet before you can even place the sound, a pair of luminous eyes pierces the black. This is the sensory world of the cat. Eyes, ears, and whiskers combining into a living radar system, painting reality in layers we can barely comprehend. Let us begin with the eyes. Cats are masters of twilight, their vision optimized for the soft in-between world we call dusk. Their pupils can widen into vast black pools, allowing 6 times more light than our own eyes. The round human pupil is polite, but the cat's vertical slit is dramatic, shifting from narrow pinpoints in daylight to enormous portals at night. Behind the retina lies a mirrored layer, the tapetum lucidum. It reflects light back through the photoreceptors, giving the eye a second chance to capture every photon. That glow you see in the dark, that eerie emerald or gold shimmer, is not magic, but biology. Moonlight doubled and returned. Their color perception is muted compared with ours, less of the vivid rainbow and more of a softened pastel palette. But in exchange, they gain heightened sensitivity to motion. The tiniest flicker, a moth wing, a twitch of grass, registers instantly. In their world, movement is color and color is movement. Where we might miss a shadow, they see a story unfolding. Now tilt your attention to their ears. Tall, triangular, swiveling almost 180 degrees, each ear operates independently like a finely tuned dish. Inside, over 30 muscles adjust and orient, catching frequencies beyond our range. While humans hear up to about 20,000 hertz, cats stretch nearly double that, detecting the ultrasonic squeaks of rodents. Picture sound not as noise but as a shimmering map. Each rustle a dot, each squeak a line. To a cat, the world is a constellation of whispers, and their ears are telescopes trained on the unseen. And then there are the whiskers, the vibrissae, those delicate white threads that sprout from muzzle, above eyes, even on the backs of their legs. Do not mistake them for mere decoration. Each whisker is rooted deep into the skin, connected to a bed of sensory neurons so sensitive they can detect minute air currents. When a cat enters a narrow space, whiskers sweep forward, calculating width and distance like built-in rulers. They can sense not just solid surfaces, but the movement of air around them, giving them a ghostly awareness of shapes before touch. It is as if they are wearing invisible gloves that reach into the world ahead. The whiskers also communicate emotion. Notice when a cat is curious, they fan forward, reaching, eager. When relaxed, they drift outward like soft antennae. When threatened, they flatten back against the cheeks. They are a mood map, broadcasting the hidden language of the feline mind. Layered together, these senses create a three-dimensional orchestra. Eyes catch motion where light is scarce, ears capture sound too high for us, whiskers feel the texture of the invisible. Together they render a map of reality that is sharper, denser, stranger than ours. Cats do not just see the world, they sense it. They wear it like a second skin. Think about how this feels for the cat. To step into a dark alley and know instantly where every object, every movement, every breath of air is located. Imagine the confidence that gives, the stillness it allows. No panic, only patience, only precision. It is little wonder they move like ghosts, slipping between shadows as if the world itself were bending to their will. And as you listen, perhaps your own senses sharpen slightly. The rhythm of your breathing grows slower, the sound of your room becomes more noticeable, the brush of air on your skin a little clearer. That's the effect of imagining a cat's world. You borrow some of their sensitivity just for a moment. So the next time you see those eyes glowing in the dark, or those ears twitching like tiny radar dishes, or those whiskers trembling against the air, you will know what you are truly looking at. Not just a cat, but an instrument evolved to play the symphony of silence. If you've ever placed your hand against a resting cat, you'll know the rhythm of their inner world, the gentle thrum of a heart, the rise and fall of quiet breath. These are not just ordinary patterns of life, they are the machinery of stealth, tuned with almost meditative precision. A cat's cardiovascular and respiratory systems are the engines behind its elegance, supplying energy, maintaining silence, and allowing sudden bursts of speed that defy expectation. Let us begin with the heart. Tucked deep within the chest, it beats faster than ours, resting somewhere between 140 and 220 beats per minute. Even in stillness, a cat's heart is quick, preparing muscles with a constant rush of oxygenated blood. But this rapid pace does not mean fragility, it means readiness. Imagine a bowstring kept taut, never slack, so that when the body calls, energy flows instantly. And yet, despite the speed, the sound is faint, almost hidden, soft enough that it rarely betrays their presence to prey. Blood travels through a network of vessels, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every fiber. But unlike endurance runners such as horses or dogs, cats are sprinters. Their cardiovascular system is not built for the marathon, but for explosive, decisive moments. They can launch into a chase with astonishing speed, yet rarely for long. After a brief dash, they return to stillness, conserving energy, heart slowing, body resetting. It is an anatomy of patience and precision rather than excess. Now notice their lungs tucked beneath the ribs, expanding like bellows. Cats breathe quietly, each inhalation shallow but efficient. Their resting respiratory rate is higher than ours, often between 20 and 30 breaths per minute. Yet it feels unhurried, almost hidden beneath their fur. When they sprint, the lungs expand in synchrony with the bounding of their spine, each leap stretching the rib cage, drawing in more air. This coordination between breath and motion is what fuels their fluidity. Where we might gasp or stumble, cats breathe as if the very act of running were a form of breathing itself. Their metabolism adds another layer to this design. Cats burn energy differently from omnivores like us. They are obligate carnivores, and their bodies are wired to take fuel from protein and fat rather than carbohydrates. Their livers maintain a steady stream of glucose for the brain, but most of their energy comes from amino acids and fatty acids. This metabolic strategy suits their hunting style, long stretches of rest punctuated by short, explosive bursts. It is a cycle of saving, then spending, then saving again. Silence, too, is built into this biology. The way their chest expands and contracts is subtle, nearly invisible. Prey animals, tuned to notice motion, might miss the cat entirely, because even its breathing seems concealed. The heart works like a whispering engine, hidden beneath layers of fur and rib, delivering power without sound. It is as though nature designed the body not only for efficiency but for secrecy. And yet, this system holds a paradox. A cat's heart and metabolism must work constantly, even when they appear motionless. Their high resting heart rate and metabolic demand mean they can never truly idle in the way we do. They are, in some sense, always prepared, always on the cusp of action. To sit beside a cat is to sit beside a body ready to strike, but also perfectly content to rest. The purr adds another gentle mystery to their physiology. Produced by rhythmic contractions of the laryngeal muscles, the purr vibrates at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz. This sound, soft as a lullaby, coincides with both inhalation and exhalation. Some researchers believe these vibrations may aid healing, stimulating bone growth, reducing pain, promoting tissue repair. Whether that is true or not, the effect on us is undeniable. When a cat purrs against your chest, your own heart slows, your breath deepens. Their physiology entrains our own, pulling us into calm. Think for a moment of how this feels. A body that is always ready yet always still. A heart that beats quickly yet quietly. Lungs that expand without sound. Metabolism that fuels precision rather than waste. It is a reminder that power does not need to be loud, and readiness does not need to be restless. And as you listen, perhaps your own breath finds a slower rhythm. Perhaps your heart feels lighter, calmer. The cat's biology becomes a mirror, reminding you that silence can be strength and stillness can be preparation. Like them, you can rest deeply, yet be ready for whatever arrives. Follow a cat at mealtime and you'll see a ritual older than civilization itself. There's the silent stalk, the sudden pounce, the swift kill, or, in a modern home, the polite wait by the food bowl. But beneath this behavior lies an intricate inner story. The digestive system, a journey that turns prey into power. This tale begins at the mouth and ends in the quiet transformation of muscle, energy, and life. The first act belongs to the teeth. Unlike ours, designed for grinding and chewing, a cat's teeth are instruments of precision. The canines, long and conical, pierce with surgical sharpness, perfect for seizing prey. Just behind them sit the carnassials, blade-like molars that shear flesh into strips. There is no patient chewing here. Cats slice, swallow, and move on. Their tongues, rough with papillae that curve backward like tiny hooks, act as natural combs, pulling meat into the throat while also stripping fur and feathers from prey. To imagine it, think of a rasping brush, efficient and relentless, sculpting food into manageable form. Once swallowed, food travels down the esophagus, a muscular tube that guides it to the stomach. Here, the real transformation begins. The feline stomach is highly acidic, secreting powerful gastric juices that dissolve meat, bone, and even some feathers. This acidic environment not only breaks down food, but also protects against bacteria, allowing cats to eat prey that might sicken other species. It is a cauldron of survival, a chamber where raw matter becomes usable fuel. From the stomach, partially digested food enters the small intestine. Here, enzymes from the pancreas and bile from the liver continue the work, breaking proteins and fats into absorbable fragments. Unlike us, cats have little need for carbohydrate digestion. They lack enzymes to process starch efficiently, and their bodies barely respond to sweetness at all. Instead, their intestines are short, built for speed rather than fermentation. This reflects their evolutionary truth. Carnivores do not linger over meals. They consume, digest, absorb, and move on. The small intestine is also where vital nutrients like taurine, arginine, and certain vitamins are absorbed. These are not optional extras. Cats cannot synthesize them internally and must obtain them from meat. Without taurine, their vision and heart would falter. Without arginine, toxic ammonia would accumulate. Their very survival is tethered to the flesh of others, their digestive design a constant reminder of their obligate carnivore status. Next, the journey flows into the large intestine, where water is reabsorbed and waste begins to form. Cats, descended from desert ancestors, are masters of conservation. Their kidneys and colon excel at reclaiming moisture, leaving feces dry, concentrated, efficient. It is an echo of ancient survival when water was scarce and every drop mattered. Even today, a house cat's litter tray carries the signature of the desert: economy, precision, nothing wasted. But digestion is not just a mechanical process. It shapes behavior too. Notice how cats prefer many small meals rather than one large feast. In the wild, prey is modest: a bird here, a mouse there. Their stomachs, tuned for small portions, reflect this hunting rhythm. Even in domestic life, they often request food in bursts, as though echoing the endless hunt. The digestive system also explains why dietary errors can be dangerous. Plants, sweets, and certain compounds simply do not belong in their biology. Chocolate, onions, garlic, harmless to us, can poison them, overwhelming a system that never evolved to process such things. To care for a cat is to remember its ancestry, to respect the desert hunter hidden beneath the fur. And yet, in this precision, there is elegance. A cat's body is not greedy, it is efficient. Every part of digestion serves survival, each step conserving energy, extracting maximum value from every bite. Even their grooming, licking fur with that sandpaper tongue, often happens after eating, cleaning themselves, but also stimulating digestion through relaxation. It is a ritual that binds body and mind, biology and behavior. As you reflect on this, perhaps your own body responds. You might notice the rhythm of your breath slowing, your stomach settling, a quiet awareness of how your own digestion works. Just as cats move through cycles of feast and rest, your body too finds balance, preparing for its own quiet renewal. So the next time you watch a cat crunch through kibble or lick its lips after a meal, you'll know the deeper story. Each bite is more than feeding. It is an echo of savanna survival, a dialogue with ancestry, a lesson in living precisely, elegantly, efficiently. Listen closely, and you will hear the soft machinery of a cat's mind at work. Curiosity like a slow-turning key, attention that hones in on detail, an instinct that arrives like an old friend. A cat's cognition is not human-shaped. It is compact, economical, and honed for a life of observation, punctuated by sudden decision. Where a dog may seek approval, a cat evaluates opportunity. Where a human plans by story, a cat plans by sensation. Yet beneath that aloofness there are currents of emotion, learning, and subtle sociality that shape every twitch and tilt of the head. Begin with play. To the casual eye, a kitten chasing a ribbon seems merely entertaining, but play is rehearsal. It refines motor timing, perfects stalking sequences, and teaches the young cat the judgment required to capture moving prey. Each pounce is a test of distance, each bat of the paw a calibration of force. Adults continue to play because play maintains agility and mental acuity. It keeps the circuits of hunting precise even when prey is replaced by a feather toy. Play is where instinct and learning meet. Successful movements are reinforced, errors pruned, and a body learns to move with elegant economy. Memory in cats is both immediate and enduring. Spatial memory is especially strong. They remember routes, hiding places, and the exact windows where afternoon warmth gathers. A cat will learn the geometry of a home and return to favored perches with quiet certainty. Associative memory, sound of a tin opening, footsteps that mean feeding time, guides daily choices. Emotional memory is selective. A pattern of gentle interactions builds trust, while a single frightening event may shift behavior for months. This selective remembering is part of why patience and consistency matter so much when caring for them. Instinct sits close to awareness. Hunting follows a sequence: stalk, pause, pounce, bite, that is partly innate. Yet experience modifies the template. A cat that overshoots will pause more before leaping. A cat that succeeds will refine its timing. That interplay of hard wiring and plasticity makes feline behavior both recognizably patterned and endlessly surprising. Social cognition in cats is nuanced. Although often labeled solitary, many felids can form loose social groups when resources permit. Domestic cats may develop tolerant colonies around abundant food, with unspoken rules of tolerance and hierarchy. Communication is layered: a flick of the tail, a slow blink, a cheek rub. Each carries meaning. You might remember the eyes gleaming in dusk, the tapetum lucidum that returns light, and also remember that slow blink, a soft, feline kiss that signals safety and trust. Vocalization adapts to human company. The meow, interestingly, is largely a human-directed signal. Cats discovered it works on us. Purring, often read as contentment, can also appear during stress or illness. Its low-frequency vibration may have calming or even restorative associations. Hisses, growls, and chirrups mark boundaries, threats, or excitement. Context matters. The same sound can mean different things when paired with posture and scent. Scent underpins much of feline social life. Facial glands leave chemical signatures when a cat rubs against a person or object, declaring familiarity. Spraying broadcasts presence more widely and helps reduce physical conflict by signaling occupancy. Pheromones influence mood. Maternal scents soothe kittens, and scent-based products can calm anxious adults, evidence of how deeply early olfactory learning shapes later life. Stress and coping deserve soft attention. Cats respond to change by hiding, over-grooming, or altering appetite. These behaviors are expressions of a nervous system tuned for caution. Yet resilience is common, with safe spaces, predictable routines and enrichment, vertical climbing areas, play sessions, puzzle feeders. Many adapt and flourish. Enrichment is, in effect, gentle exercise for the brain that preserves cognitive function and reduces anxiety. Attachment to people is selective and rewarding. Cats bond on their terms, choosing proximity and interaction when it suits them. This choice makes their affection feel earned and therefore deeply meaningful. They learn human schedules, respond to voices and footsteps, and may follow a preferred person from room to room. Rituals like kneading, head rubbing, and following are small daily acts that reinforce connection. Problem solving is pragmatic. Faced with a closed door or a tricky feeder, many cats try different approaches: pawing, sniffing, circling, then repeating or abandoning the effort. Some individuals display notable ingenuity, opening cupboards, manipulating latches, while others prefer mastered routines. Personality and early experience shape these tendencies as much as species-wide instincts. Temperament is sculpted early. Gentle handling and social exposure widen the window for trust. Neglect or trauma narrows it. Yet with patience and kindness, even wary cats can form powerful bonds. Their independence is part of their charm. They invite cooperation rather than demanding it, and that invitation makes their loyalty feel quietly profound. As you listen, allow your curiosity to soften into warmth. Picture a paw tapping a ribbon, a slow blink across the room, the quiet focus of a hunter, learning and remembering. That soft attention aligns your breath with theirs, hovering, patient, alert, inviting you to remain a little while longer. There is a quiet heroism to a cat's life, not in grand gestures, but in daily recoveries, small healings, and the patient keeping of balance. Health for a cat is an ongoing negotiation between resilience and fragility, an interplay of immune vigilance, effective repair systems, and behaviors that conserve energy and reduce risk. As they move through the years, their bodies change, and with gentle care, we can help prolong comfort, curiosity, and dignity. The immune system is the unseen guardian. Cats possess innate defenses, barriers of skin and mucous membranes, specialized cells that recognize and remove invaders, and inflammatory responses that summon repair. Kittens arrive with antibodies passed in their mother's milk, a temporary shield that fades as their own immune education begins. Over time, controlled exposure to microbes trains the adaptive immune system to remember threats and respond accurately. Vaccination mirrors this schooling, offering protection against hazards that a solitary hunter might otherwise face. Wounds tell stories of resilience. Cats' bodies are equipped for repair. Clotting mechanisms halt bleeding. Inflammatory cells clear debris and bacteria, and fibroblasts rebuild tissue while new blood vessels form to nourish healing areas. The gentle purr may contribute indirectly to recovery. Its low-frequency vibration has been associated in some studies with tissue and bone repair, and the calming effect on the cat reduces stress hormones that can otherwise delay healing. Small cuts and scratches often close quickly, yet severe injuries or deep infections still require attention and care. Oral health is often overlooked yet profoundly important. Periodontal disease progresses quietly, causing discomfort, reduced appetite, and weight loss. Chronic oral infection can release bacteria into the bloodstream, influencing organs such as the heart and kidneys over time. Regular dental assessments, appropriate diets, toothbrushing where tolerated, and early treatment of dental problems are simple measures that yield substantial benefits to well-being. The kidneys and liver are workhorses that reveal aging most clearly. Chronic kidney disease is common in older cats. The kidney's ability to concentrate urine declines and waste products accumulate, producing lethargy, decreased appetite, and altered drinking habits. Early detection through routine monitoring, tailored nutrition, and attention to hydration can slow progression and preserve quality of life. The liver, responsible for metabolism and detoxification, also becomes more vulnerable with age and with cumulative stressors, so careful feeding and prompt treatment of illness help maintain its efficiency. Arthritis and joint wear are the quiet cost of a long, active life. Those same joints that powered acrobatic leaps in youth may stiffen with time. Cats are masters at masking pain, so subtle signs such as less enthusiastic jumping, slight limping, or prolonged periods of rest may be the first hints. Weight management, gentle physiotherapy, environmental adjustments like ramps and lower shelves, together with appropriate analgesia, can restore mobility and the pleasure of movement. These modest changes in the home often translate into renewed curiosity and comfort for an older cat. Behavioral changes often reflect physical or cognitive shifts. Feline cognitive dysfunction can alter sleep-wake cycles, increase nighttime vocalization, or reduce interest in play. Soft routines, environmental enrichment that encourages daytime activity, and predictable schedules become anchors that ease confusion. Pheromone-based calming supports and increased daytime interaction can reduce anxiety. Mental stimulation, play, puzzle feeders, and sensory exploration helps maintain neural pathways and slows cognitive decline, Nutrition is an ongoing therapy. Kittens need high-quality protein and specific nutrients for growth. Adults require balanced maintenance diets. Seniors may benefit from formulations that support kidneys, joints, and brain health. Hydration remains essential. Encouraging water intake with flowing fountains, wet food or broths reduces renal strain. Feeding becomes an act of care, measured portions, attention to body condition, and respect for individual tastes and tolerances. Parasites and infectious disease remain persistent concerns. Fleas, ticks, and intestinal worms not only irritate but can transmit pathogens and sap energy. Preventive routines, year-round parasite control, appropriate vaccinations, and prompt treatment of infections are the backbone of long-term health. Regular veterinary checks are not indulgent but a compassionate routine that catches subtle changes before they escalate. Resilience is also behavioral. Cats conserve energy through routine, choosing when to be active and when to rest. This economy of movement supports repair. Rest bolsters immune function, reduces wear and tear on tissues, and allows the body to allocate resources to recovery. The home environment matters. Secure sleeping spots, vertical spaces to climb, quiet hiding places, and consistent human rhythms reduce stress and support well-being. When end-of-life decisions arrive, kindness and clarity guide us. Palliative care, gentle feeding assistance, effective pain control, warmth and presence can make the final months gentle. Small rituals matter: familiar bedding, short grooming sessions, low lighting at night, and the reassurance of quiet companionship. The slow breath beside you, the weight in your lap, the faint purr become the language of presence and farewell. Think of health as a mosaic. Many small tiles: nutrition, preventive medicine, enrichment, environmental safety, and affectionate routine, fit together to form a life of ease. Each attentive habit repays with months and years of curiosity, play, and quiet affection. As you listen, let that care ripple outward. The simple acts of topping a water bowl, offering a warm bed, or stroking a familiar head are part of a life well tended. The story of cats stretches far beyond anatomy, physiology, and behavior. It winds through human history like a subtle thread, shaping myths, daily rituals, and emotional lives. To understand their biology fully, one must also trace how their presence reshaped us, how a small predator became a household companion, a spiritual emblem, and a source of quiet comfort in countless homes. Domestication of cats differs from that of dogs. Dogs were molded by human need for herders, hunters, and guardians, bred selectively to serve. Cats, by contrast, domesticated themselves. Around 9,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, humans began storing grain, attracting rodents. Wildcats, recognizing opportunity, moved closer. Humans tolerated these stealthy hunters for their rodent control, and gradually a mutual tolerance deepened into companionship. Unlike dogs, cats retained much of their independence, keeping the sharpness of hunters' instincts even as they accepted food and shelter. Their biology adapted only modestly. Slight shifts in coat patterns, vocal range, and temperament, while anatomy and behavior remained strikingly close to their wild ancestors. Ancient Egypt wove cats into myth and household life. Bastet, the lion-headed or cat-headed goddess, embodied protection, fertility, and grace. Cats were revered, often mummified with great care, their presence entwined with rituals of safeguarding the home. Their hunting ability symbolized the triumph of order over chaos. To harm a cat, even accidentally, was considered a grave offense, an echo of the deep bond humans felt with this animal whose biology carried both elegance and utility. As centuries passed, cats moved along trade routes, inhabiting ships to control vermin and spreading through Europe, Asia, and beyond. Their reputation shifted with culture, in some places guardians of hearths and granaries, in others feared as companions of witches or omens of ill fortune. This duality reflected their nature, aloof, nocturnal, enigmatic, qualities that humans projected mystery upon. Yet despite suspicion, their usefulness and allure never let them vanish from our lives. In literature and art, cats often appear as liminal figures, creatures that exist between wild and tame, affectionate and independent. Their biology reinforces this perception: half predator, half pet, a being that sleeps in the sun, yet can awaken with predatory precision. Poets, painters, and storytellers found in them a metaphor for mystery, grace, and sometimes rebellion. Their silent paws and glowing eyes became symbols of freedom, sensuality, and hidden knowledge. Modern science adds nuance to the myth. Genetic studies confirm the closeness between domestic cats and wild cats of the Middle East, while behavioral research shows their social plasticity. They can live solitary or form colonies, bond deeply with humans, or remain semi-feral. Their bodies retain the adaptations of hunters: retractable claws, carnivorous dentition, acute senses. Yet they also adapt seamlessly to our couches, radiators, and laps, an organism balancing two worlds without fully surrendering either. Emotionally, cats have a profound influence on humans. Stroking a cat can lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, and increase feelings of calm. The rhythmic vibration of purring has been likened to a natural therapy, gentle sound and sensation that soothe human nervous systems. Their independence teaches us respect for boundaries. Their affection, when given, feels all the more rewarding because it is voluntary. They remind us daily that companionship does not require control. In the age of the internet, cats have transcended biology to become cultural icons. From ancient hieroglyphs to viral videos, their image resonates because it carries both humor and depth. Their bodies, the twitch of whiskers, the liquid flow of movement, the sudden startled leap, are endlessly watchable. Their biology is a choreography that entertains, comforts, and fascinates. As we draw together these threads, the anatomy, the physiology, the senses, the cognition, the health, the long companionship, we see a creature exquisitely adapted to survival, yet willing to share its life with us. The biology of cats is not only about muscles, bones, and nerves, it is also about the invisible connections between predator and human, independence and affection, mystery and familiarity. And now, as our journey through the biology of cats slows, let the pace soften, the images linger, and your breath become unhurried. Imagine a cat curled at the foot of your bed, body warm, breath steady, eyes half closed in quiet trust. The sharp hunter of fields and forests is here transformed into a guardian of dreams. Its purr becomes the backdrop of night, steady and timeless. Allow yourself to drift with it. Each detail we have uncovered, the elegant skeleton, the velvet paw, the silent blink, dissolves into a soft haze, like candlelight fading in a room. The cat stretches, then settles, and the world becomes still. You may notice your own body mirroring that calm, your own breath aligning with that rhythm, your thoughts loosening their grip like claws retracting. As we leave this world of cats behind, let your mind wander gently, no longer searching, no longer alert, but carried along on the tide of stillness. Just as the cat curls into the warmth of night, so too may you curl into rest. The journey is complete, the story softly told, and the silence invites you now to sleep.